Yeah. This is for all you non-philosophizing black sheep, unwelcome, pushed to the side motherfuckers like me.
Fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Ha ha ha. Let's get down to business. These bitches got glitches. And you thought you'd dismiss us? Nah. Now I'm laughing in stitches. See, the problem be, it'll be a tragic travesty to come after me. So just know this is how we get down. Respect that shit like a pronoun, bitch. Yeah. Fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah. And fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way.
What up, what up, what up? Your boy Oz, as always, and good evening. Tonight's going to be a fucking blast. Just a couple things to go through on announcements real quick, and we'll get into it. It won't take long at all. But of course, I'll start out with better. Better. If you don't know what better is at this point, you ain't been in the ball game. June 25th and 26th here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This right here is happening. Shana Q, Paul Gia, Dave Warnock, Cynthia McDonald, Dr. Yashua Bowen, Seth Andrews, and myself, and Madam, who is the guest entertainer of the weekend, or for the weekend. And if you go to jesusisamyth.com, it'll link you straight to the Eventbrite site where you can purchase your reservations. And it is official. The after party will be at the Summit City Comedy Club here in Fort Wayne. And the homie and the guest for this evening, Pasta Mike, will be there, and will be going live there from the after party. So if you're a Patreon or a channel, a paid channel member here on YouTube, you will have direct access to all of the shenanigans. So one way or another, you'll at least be able to be part of the party. After tonight, the next edition of What's Your Story is Tuesday, May 17th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with the one and only Heathen Queen. So that'll be fun. Her and I have a very similar background. And then on Tuesday, May 24th at 10 p.m., the next installment of Chopping It Up with Jena and Oz, we will have the godfather of atheism, Randolph Richardson, joining us, and we're gonna have some fun content with Randolph as well. But I'm gonna stop there because I want to get into the conversation and chop it up with my homie. And before I bring Pasta on screen, this is the first time I'll be interviewing Pasta Mike. And obviously, for those that have been following the channel for, whether you've been hanging out with us since, if you're day one people, or whatever, Mike has interviewed me many times, whether it's been just on religion, religious trauma, the effects religion has had on me, my mental health, my family, all that. There's been a lot of those interviews. This is the first time where I get to put Mike in the hot seat, so that'll be fun, and looking forward to that. But before I bring him on, I try to say this as often as I can, as often as I remember, but I know for a fact I wouldn't be doing this. I don't know. Actually, I do know. The Atheist Roundtable now, TANG wouldn't be a thing and wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for this man. So I always give him mad love, and in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, Mike is the most underrated person we have in this community or this hood, as far as what he does, not as far, and not even content, just what he provides as far as help and encouragement, and always being a giver and always being a supporter. And for that, I know I'm grateful. And if Mike has helped you in any way, you already know what I'm talking about. But I want to say that before I even bring him on, so that way we set the table. We come correct. That way we come correct. But enough of that. He knows how I feel, but I just wanted to make sure that I said it before we bring him on. But who the hell is this?
Is this the hot seat?
It's if you're sitting, yes, that's the hot seat.
Well, I'm going to sit. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to sit like this, and I'm going to drink.
Sit. Hey, sit however you want to sit, but just more importantly, drink.
I think this is a good way to sit, Oz. Hold on. Ooh, there you go. A little music.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate the love. I really do.
Well, it is all love, and as far as I'm concerned, those are that's truth, and it is what it is. And you and I know, and there's some in the community that know, but you and I specifically, we know, especially when I had my previous job, how much you and I did individually and even collectively, how much we did for particular people that people don't even know about, as far as helping out, whether it was with equipment or, things like that. And I will always appreciate that. And I love and look forward to myself being able to be in a position to be able to do more of that again, eventually. But it's that kind of stuff. Like, content is content, but it's those things, like, people never forget about that.
Yeah, man. We did a lot of that in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to grab my drink, Oz. Hold on. Hell yeah, Oz. You sexy bastard. You didn't tell me it was a tank top night. I would have got a tank top on. How's that?
There you go.
There you go, bro. I'm good to go. Let's get it in.
Yeah. Well, we're like I said up top, we're going to treat this like we do. I'm sure at the end we'll get silly more than we do on other What's Your Story. But before we do that, we're going to treat this like every other What's Your Story, and dig into it. And yes, it is tank top night, all night, all night, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But Pasta, the only question that I ever come in with pre-planned is the first question, and that is, tell us about little Mikey. What was life like for little Mikey growing up?
Well, I was born in the U.S. I was born here, right? But luckily, for the sake of indoctrination, I skipped that because I went over to the U.K. when I was a kid. So I didn't get indoctrinated, man. I missed the whole Southern, because I live in the South now, obviously. I missed that whole, presuppositional, you're going to believe in God because it's true thing. Yeah, I grew up in a world of critical thinking, man.
That must have been nice.
But there was no little Mikey. I was a fat little bastard.
There was Mike came out a large baby.
Yeah, I was about 10 pounds, kid, big old thing.
And how long were you in the UK?
20 years.
Okay. All right. So you were most definitely there for the years that would have been, as far as religion and impression and indoctrination, you were definitely away for those prime years.
Yeah. My mother is, she's a Christian. She raised me, and she just never instilled it in me.
And is that in the UK, is that more of a cultural thing? Because like here, as you know, but here it's the parents' duty to raise their kids up in the ways of the Lord, to teach them. Now, in the UK, is it different where it's not that kind of mindset?
Well, it is over there, but it's just not the same. It's not as abundant, and it's not as strict. So you got your Christians over there, but they're just not like, hey, let's go to church on Sundays and all that stuff.
Okay. And so, you and most in the chat, they know my background. What were there any similarities between your mom and my mom?
No.
Okay. And growing up, do you remember seeing your mom like at home, reading a Bible, praying, having quote unquote quiet time with the Lord, anything like that?
No, she had a Bible, but she would kind of use it as, the parables, kind of like the golden rule, do good to others.
Good for you. Good on you.
John 3:16.
Yeah, probably like I was about to say probably more of the love and treat other, like you said, the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated. And were you ever did heaven and hell, afterlife ever come up?
No, not at all.
That's interesting.
Heaven may have a few times, but never hell. Never any threatening language.
And let's say in a 30-day span, when you're grown up, how many times would God or the Bible or religion come up in your home?
Well, when I was super young, like pre-pubescent age, just in casual conversation, kind of, God bless and all this stuff, but in the most loving of ways, and then as soon as Santa Claus, Father Christmas, as they call it in the UK, it was no more for me. And my mom, she kind of left it alone too. She knew I didn't believe, so she kind of left it alone.
Okay. So you're saying when you came to the realization that Santa Claus isn't a thing, the rest of it kind of fell to the wayside?
Yeah, I started to question Tooth Fairy and anything supernatural. I was like, well, that's when all that shit died for me. And
so it's crazy because I have to pause and even process that because of the vultural reaction that I received, that your mom realized that no, you just don't buy this, you don't believe in this, and she just kind of left alone. Where obviously what did and has happened on my side. What would you say? Or I guess how would you explain that to somebody in the States as far as the difference in cultural belief? Because we talk about that all the time as atheists, that depending on where you raise up, heavily spins or dictates what it is you don't believe in. And being there in the UK, and it's not as down your throat, in your face, how would you try to describe that or paint that picture to somebody, like what that's like?
Well, I think the child's brain is malleable. So depending on your upbringing, it's not that it can't happen in the UK, because it does. It clearly does. There are quadrants of fundamental Christianity in the UK. And I just truly believe that this American, the persuasion of Christianity that's in the States is just far more aggressive when it comes to the way children are taught not to question it.
yeah, we'll see. That question wouldn't be relevant because it's not. You weren't being force fed, because a lot of the questions would apply to those that are being force fed. So when you were, by the time you're in high school, you already don't believe, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't believe. In fact, in hindsight, I can remember asking epistemic questions before I knew what epistemology was.
Did you have if we skip up to high school, did you go to school with friends that were like very religious people?
Yeah, there was one or two religious folks that I went to school with, but the majority of my friends in school were probably agnostic, teenagers.
Man, that's crazy. That's a whole nother rabbit trail. But so you said you were already starting to ask some of those, epistemic or Socratic mind questions.
Well, there was nothing fancy. It was just like the why this, how that,
right.
The questions that kids should be asking. You don't just say, oh, that I'm just going to accept that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were asking those questions, were those to peers, teachers? Like who?
Yeah, I remember asking them to my RE was religious education in high school. And that was a fun class for me because I was a teenager at this time and a bit of a smart ass at that. So there was quite a few questions I would ask this elderly. She was an elderly teacher. But my mother, I was a lot more, cordial with, and I still am to this day. We have great conversations, actually, my mom and I.
And you mean about like questioning?
Yeah, about belief, because she's still a believer.
Right. So what does that look like? What does that look like today? Is it one of those like she clings to it, or is she open to questioning it? Like where does she stand now?
When I was younger, it was kind of like we respected each other. Like I just would leave her alone, and I was a little bit more. If you could imagine, my version of hot-headed is like you on a 1. So, but that was still, I was still, a little bit more aggressive towards her beliefs back when I was a teenager. But in later life now, because we have long conversations when she calls, we have good conversations. They are kind of like, street epistemology heavy, and I'll let her go off on tangents, and, I'm very patient.
Yes, you are much more patient than I am with some of the crazy talk. And then, so we talked a little bit about your mom. Was your dad a believer?
Well, all of his family are, because they're from South Carolina. He wasn't. My dad was a very private man, and he was not a vocal. If he was a Christian, he wasn't a vocal Christian. So he wasn't somebody that spoke his opinion about Christianity to anybody.
Did he talk to you about it?
Never.
Okay. So it's interesting because now when we think about the dynamics, so you're once your mom realized that your belief in a god or a deity wasn't there, and dad is not at all talking to you about it. Isn't it ironic that you are not set up to innately believe just because mom and dad have prescribed that for you and to you? And I wish more and more people would see the effects of that, and that when you start teaching a kid at a young age to believe in this thing without good reason, and not teach them to have to practice critical thinking and to ask the questions like you were talking about: why, when, where, how. And Christian parents are so afraid of those questions or those words. And here you are, and Mike's a great guy, and he doesn't need a god to be a great guy. Isn't that amazing?
Well, that's subjective, but thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny because like my mother's not very theologically sound. You know, I think she read the New Testament and just quit, or passages and just quit. You know, where I didn't grow up around my dad, so I can't really say this too much. My adult life is more involving my dad, and we didn't talk about religion. The thing with my mom is more like anecdotes. You know, she talks about experiences, and you got to tread lightly with those.
Yeah. Especially if we go from anecdotes to anecdotal. We go anecdotal, then we're on
yeah, you could go down that route. You know, she brings up like experiences that she's had, and I'll just politely say, you know, is it fair to say that, you know, somebody of another faith that's familiar with the deities of their faith could quite equally say they've had the same experiences as you, and it just makes her think about it, you know.
Yeah, and it's for some, those are just the little seeds of, you know, I wouldn't even call it doubt, just questioning that can be the proverbial, you know, stone in your shoe, you know, that makes you, you know, start maybe even reconsidering, you know, if there's a good reason to, you know, to believe in this thing. So,
right.
So 20 years in UK, and then why the hell did you end up back here?
Well, one and a half in Texas first, but joined the military. Went to the embassy in London, and they're like, "You're not British. Well, you're not born in the Commonwealth. They're kind of strict over there. The Royal Military, the Royal Army, and all that stuff. They're like, you weren't born here, so." So I was like, okay, well, they're like, well, there's a U.S. recruiters around the corner. You can take your passport over there if you want. And I joined the Navy.
And how long were you enlisted?
I just did one tour, so 4 years.
Okay.
Did the 4 years, got out.
And well, first of all, thank you for your service.
You're very welcome.
And so tell me, that had to be, excuse me, that there had to be somewhat, little bit, maybe a lot, kind of a slap in the face, culture shock or something going from the UK to what I call the Jesus bed, which is Texas. There had to be something there.
Well, first of all, when I got into boot camp, when they're creating your dog tags, they ask you, you know, what do you want for your religion? And they didn't have atheists, so the closest to it was no religious preference, which is no rel pref. So I just went with that. But then 2 weeks into boot camp, I noticed that on Sundays, you get free time if you're a Christian or Muslim, because they let you go to either the mosque or to the church. So I quickly was like, hey, I want to go to that. Because it would get you out of polishing your boots or whatever. So they're like, well, it's choir practice. So I was like, I can sing. I got a sweet falsetto. So I was the only one in the church that had no religious preference on my dog tag. So I was hiding my dog tag, like, you know. And same with, I don't smoke cigarettes. You know, I'm not a smoker. But I'd go out and take, you know, smoke breaks because I'm like, hey, I want that time off too.
Yeah, I don't smoke either.
Yeah, you pretty much do. Yeah, pretty much like all the time when I've been around you.
Yep. Anyway, so since you said it, we're gonna need to hear the falsetto.
Oh, you'll hear it in June.
Right. So 4 years in the military. Did you get stationed outside of the States? What did that look like?
Well, I left the UK to come to the States, so that was kind of like my thing. You know, that was, so to me, that would have been like the equivalency of somebody in the States being stationed overseas. So I did Florida and Virginia.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's. I didn't know if they like sent you to to the Middle East, or you went or if you stayed stateside.
No, I used to send folks to Bahrain. I ended up being an administrative position in the Navy, and I used to be like a travel agent, and I'd send folks to Bahrain, get them paid.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, military's done. You said you did 4 years. How old were you when you got out?
25.
Okay, so yeah, the military. Then what? What's next?
Well, the military was oddly religious. Quite religious actually. There's quite a few walks of or persuasions, I should say. But I had good experiences with being an atheist. I was well accepted and integrated into the religious people that were in the Navy. I think there's like a camaraderie or brotherhood or whatever you want to call it, brethren amongst your shipmates. And I'm assuming it would be the same for the Army and other branches. But I was an outward spoken atheist in the Navy and never run into any issues. And I used to, crack jokes and ridicule. And, I was twice the size of everybody too. I don't know if that played a role.
That might have played a part a little bit.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to believe that you were instigating or being sarcastic or satirical, or I have a hard time believing that ever happened.
Well, I used to for the first 2 years, I was kind of like a maintenance guy working on an aircraft, and I used to come out into the shop. It was a whole bunch, mainly Christians, and I would pretend to preach in a Southern accent.
Oh, kind of like what we're going to talk about here a little bit later. Kind of like the Mike's ministry guy.
Yep, pretty much. And this would have been like back in 2002, so a long time ago.
And was it well taken because of your person? Because you do have a fun personality. So was it well taken because of your personality and the fact that you are, typically if it's just time to sit around and shoot the shit, you are a fun loving guy. Do you think that it was well taken because of that? I
do love fun. Yeah, most of the time. The first time I did it, I think they thought I was being serious. So it's kind of weird because it's like, oh, he genuinely is a pastor. And then they're like, no, he's not, because he said something, offensive. And then when it was found out that I was joking, then it was like, okay, well, we'll let him pass because, he's funny.
And up through that, and even so, high school years, and everything, you go move back here, go to the military. Was there any, up to that point, was there any moment or any time that you had a conversation with someone that you considered religion or considered a god or considered a belief? Was there ever a time or a conversation that you had that you remember that you might think that this could be real?
No, never once. But I have had conversations with elderly people. My grandmother, especially towards the end of her life, where I kind of dropped the questions that the Socratic questions, for lack of a better term, and just tried to understand why a person would hold on to such, a belief, to better understand it without being so, chasing after, my opinion, But no, personally, I've never once been persuaded by the stories of the supernatural god creatures in religious doctrine. Never once. Since a wee little chubby, rosy-cheeked boy.
Wee little fella. And during the military, your military time, is there a conversation that sticks out to you where you either or you think, or at least have good reason to believe that you made an impact or at least helped someone start to question or ask questions in that regard? Can you look back? Can you identify a conversation or maybe multiple conversations where that took place?
Not during the military, but last April of 21, a friend of mine from the military met me in Sinoia, which is the little town that they shoot The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It's not too far from where I live. And this gentleman is from Ohio, actually. And he was just in town for business. Well, he was a devout, one of the Christians that I used to get along with really well, friend of mine, good guy. We served together. But I used to joke with him a lot, and he could take a joke, kind of like some of the Christians that we kind of mess with. They're thick-skinned. Well, he revealed to me that over the years he's dropped his belief. He's more of he prefers to use the term agnostic, which I further ridiculed him on, obviously. But he did mention that some of the conversations we had back in 2004 were some of the things that ring true to him. But at the time, he wouldn't have told me that.
That's well, I'll save that part of the conversation for later. Yeah, and it's interesting, and it's awesome because you never know when again you put those pebbles in the shoes. You don't. It could be tomorrow. It could be a year from now.
Of course.
That people start to pull those things apart.
But it wasn't the things that I said. It was the things he asked me. So it was my response, because obviously the things I was telling him were just little pokes, little jabs. But when he would ask me questions about like why I was an atheist and stuff, it was those responses that kind of stuck with him over the years.
Got you. And then once out of the military, you've already said that there was never a time that you were close to or felt like you were being convinced of a God conversation. So we can skip all of that. And we were just talking about 2004, which that's a long time ago now.
Oz, you were married back then.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. It's like you had a child, didn't you? Wasn't one of your children born?
Yes, Mike. They were.
So don't tell me it was a long time ago. You're making me feel old, dude. That
child is 21. So yes, we are fucking old.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we're pretty old.
So let's talk about 2018, 19. Unless there's something that
2019. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I see where you're going.
Unless there's something that you want to talk about in between there, and then, because if there was never a time that you did want to believe or were almost believing, I think the most interesting thing is to fast forward to where we all start congregating and talk through that. So,
well, I've never believed. I've been married twice. My first wife was like a weak Christian, if you will. She was and I say that's my opinion of her. She probably wouldn't appreciate if I said that. So I don't mean it in a negative way, in the sense that she wasn't a churchgoer. She did believe. I never gave her a hard time about it. She knew I was an atheist. My second wife was also an atheist. So I've had both, and the common denominator must be me. I'm a jerk. So, but when it comes to beliefs, I've never really tried to convince. I'm not one of those atheists that try to go out and want to convince or convert people from Christianity or Islam to atheism. But I do find it fascinating that people actually believe that, ridiculous, absurd doctrine.
Well, that's so great segue. Before we go into 2019 or whatever, you're better with the remembering years than I am. But before we do that, as the cradle atheist, like I don't know what it's like to not believe, not having believed, right?
There, you're still a Christian. I knew it.
I don't know what that's like. I don't know what it's like to have not believed at one point or another. So I can't even imagine the thought process. But for someone that's never had that belief, especially it being a deeply held belief, when you hear and I'm not talking about just the average layperson Christian, but like when you hear the Mark of Legends, when you hear like the one gentleman that came on that we interviewed that believed that he was the whatever it was, he was the galaxy and the galaxy was him, and you know the
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, the black gentleman we interviewed. Like, as somebody that's never held a belief, like I know how I feel about it, but I used to believe in some similar things. What's that like for a cradle atheist that's never held a belief, never been indoctrinated, never believed? Like, what goes through your brain when you hear like cock shit crazy like that, where it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I'll start with the ending. You fucked it up for me because it was wonderful. I was on this little cloud of I'm better than you, everyone else, you know, kind of thing. And I say that, you know, with a bit of facetiousness there, but I didn't realize how fucked up religion is, obviously, because when on one hand it is good, you just highlighted some of the positive things of cradle atheism, but on the flip side of it, it would kind of be contradictory of me to want to have to go through a traumatic experience to be able to say I've experienced it, now I know what it's like. But you can at least empathize and understand that it's fucked up. And knowing you over the past, you know, it'll be 3 years this fall.
Yep.
That we met on Farmers Only.
You're so stupid.
No, but getting to know you and, you know, talk to you as much as I have, it's really opened up my eyes to what PTSD and religious trauma does.
And you know what? This is because this is kind of a flip from talking to those that have had to deconstruct and deconvert. Is there, in regards to what you just shared, and not experiencing the, you know, religious trauma or even the abuse within households that happen that are cloaked, it's still done, like you and I have talked about many times. It's still the human that does the deed, right? But then it's cloaked by the religion. It's cloaked by the dogma. What encouragement would you give to other cradle atheists that maybe haven't made that connection yet, that you have, and through our friendship and other friendships? What would you suggest, or what would you encourage them to do so that maybe they can have a better connection with those that have been fucked up by religion?
Well, it depends, because, you know, I don't think all cradle atheists are out there, you know, being a negative driving force toward other atheists. Mm-hmm. But if there are some condescending cradle atheists that are trying to throw that under the rug and things like that, then shame on them, because they should take a moment to appreciate that there are people who have had to go through the meat grinder and come out the other end and put themselves back together before they were able to, you know, find out that their beliefs are poor. Whereas, you know, the cradle atheist like myself, we realized it at an early age and avoided that meat grinder.
Yeah, and the way I view it now, and I actually think it's awesome, especially if more and more people embrace it. But it's like with Mike and I, when we met, and that's when I was still like as far as the wounds and the hurt was still so raw, and it wasn't even time for band-aids yet. Like, we're still talking about stitches. You know,
so raw. It was, you were like you were an asshole to anybody that was religious.
And I can laugh now because I can look back at old footage and like, yeah, you were a dick, dude. You're a fucking dick. But for the cradle atheists, what I would say is where Mike really helped me was not just being the encourager and the help and all that, but it was very much Big Brother, where he was there to protect, to make sure that the wounds were not made worse and that they weren't opened up more, and would be the first one to step up and be like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to say that. You don't, that kind of thing. So for other cradle atheists, if there's someone that you've met or someone that that is just coming out of religion and comes out of a really shitty form of religion or situation, be that big brother or big sister or big whatever, and that protector, and guard them, because those people are hurt. They are hurt, and that hurt is real. And the first thing we do when we're hurt, and not everybody responds the way I do, but it's usually it's either very aggressive, like mine was, or they run and you never see them and you never hear from them again. And I don't want to see that. So that would be from my side of that would be to encourage that. And for those that have walked away from religion, embrace those people, because they've not been damaged by that the way you have, and they can see things more clearly than you can in that part of your life. So Dr. Phil moment.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
No, for real.
I saw you were somebody that could be, taken under, you fit under my wing quite nicely in that regard. Mm-hmm. I think we've helped each other learn things. So
100. Really, it's well, we'll get to that in a minute, but we do have a super chat real quick.
Super chat.
And there's one more. Thank you. Secular Sakai, 99 cents here. Oh, where'd the other one go? There it is. Yeah. Thank you, Shane Bilowitz, $20. Thank you for the support. Shout out Pasta and everything he does. Also, recently on a stream, Oz implied that I am a tad verbose and long-winded. I must object. On the contrary, I see what you're doing there. Thank you, Shane. So we go up to 2019, and you do a better job of telling this part of the story for sure. But I stumbled upon Mike's Ministries on TikTok. So tell everybody a little bit about old Mike and Mike's Ministries.
Well, that actually started out on Facebook with my ex-wife. Like I used to Snapchat had funny filters on it, and I used to most of my ex-wife's friends on Facebook were Christians, so I would get on her Facebook and film something goofy and post it when she was in the shower or something. She'd come back from the shower and see like an array of messages, and I would say, oh yeah, I think some minister just posted a sermon on your page. And I would do that like on Sundays, and I would like do Ezekiel 23:20 or something, in that crazy Snapchat filter. Well, that was like 2016, 2017. And then my stepdaughter at the time downloaded TikTok. And, she was like 10, and I didn't know what it was. So I was like, yeah, you can have TikTok all you want. And then I was walking by her bedroom because it was by my office, and I hear some like derogatory song coming out of her iPad. So I'm like, let me see that phone. Let me see your iPad real quick. And I immediately like took it. And then as I'm scrolling through, I see, a whole bunch of like negative videos that she shouldn't have been looking at. But I also see a whole bunch of Christianity, so it was like, it was twerking, like strip club music, and then Bible verses of the day, like all the way through. So,
welcome to TikTok.
Yeah. So, she went to bed that night, and then I had a fun time changing the login on her TikTok to Mike's ministry and pandering to the Christian audience on it. And I think that's where you and I met.
Yeah, that's what. Here, because if I don't do this, I'll forget. One more super chat. Yeah. From Pat, the Mad Facts guy. Shane should pay $20 to have his nonsense scrolled. $2, thank you, Pat. But yeah, so that's how Apostle Mike and I met. So at that point, I was just coming out of, just got done with my first divorce, and it was also very, very close to the time that I was truly walking away from faith and religion. Like, fuck this shit. I'm not holding on to this anymore. And I remember I'd get home from work, and it was just like, it was one of those things where it was like, I was looking for something to keep my mind busy. And not just keep my mind busy, but to laugh, because I was in a very dark place, and I wanted to laugh. I wanted to smile. And I didn't watch the news. I didn't watch TV. None of that bullshit. And all of a sudden, there's this big bald-headed bearded motherfucker with these fucking glasses on. This is Mike's Ministries. Welcome, saints. And I'm like, I'm already smiling. And then when he gets into it, just complete, it's dripping with satire, dripping with sarcasm. But it's not, it's dripping, but it's not over the top where it would be offensive if I were still a Christian. Like it wasn't that. And then I started commenting, and then Mike and I started, exchanging comments, and eventually started messaging. And then Mike, you connected, obviously you and I connected, but then J Mike and Jeff and Steve, tell everybody about that process.
Well, I remember you were one of the first people on TikTok to start actually commenting on those ridiculous videos I was posting.
Hey, dude, those are fucking hilarious.
But I think I simultaneously was having conversations with Jeff and J Mike, and then I decided that Skype would be a good opportunity to have conversations with other atheists. And I always had this aspiration to do the Atheist Roundtable. I'm a big fan of these roundtable discussions on the Hollywood, I think it's the Hollywood Reporter that does it with actors and musicians. And I was like, I'd love to do that with some of these TikTokers, some of the atheist TikTokers. So Skype was the platform, and we were doing it for a while. And then I noticed that you had a YouTube channel with four subscribers, and you would want to debate people on it. So I was like, we could kind of move this over to YouTube. And I started to develop the characters, I would see Steve in his shed, and to me, he looked a little bit like Dexter.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. With his red hair and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's Murder Shed Steve. And then, if you think J Mike doesn't look like Jesus, then you're probably looking at the wrong guy. And hence where J Mike came from. And then you wanted to stick with your childhood nickname of Oz, which I much preferred over the atheist asshole. And
oh, come on.
And then we were left with Jeff, and it was just Jeff that was left. So just Jeff. And that was it. The rest was history.
Just fucking Jeff.
Oh, and then Eddie Kroom came along and didn't want to admit that he was an atheist. So we kicked him out.
that happened. He got kicked to the curb. It's like, oh, dude, we thought you were an atheist.
Yeah, but honorable mentions to folks like Benji. Anthony Magnabosco obviously reached out and kind of connected Benji to us. But such a young guy, but such a great critical thinking mind.
Yeah, Ben's great. I still got mad love, mad respect for Ben and even Anthony and his support. Since he found out, about us and what we were doing, his support and always speaking highly, of us and the channel. And for those that don't, or you weren't around, then, or weren't aware of us then. When we first started, we had a very particular, very specific format of our
set of skills. You were going to say set of skills.
A particular set of skills. I will hunt you, I will find you, and I will kill you.
You will do it.
But Mike, I love the way you were on the and I can't remember because it's a mouthful. I love them, but Seamus and his co-host.
That's the free thought.
Free, yeah, that one. Free
That's the guys.
Pod, yeah. I loved the way you described or tried to paint a picture of what we did, in the early days, as far as it being similar to a video game. So for those that are in the chat or watch this in the next day or two, that they weren't around, didn't know about us, in the OG days, what did that look like?
Yeah, that was a fun podcast, by the way. They invited me on, and I don't know if you know this, but they interviewed me, and then I turned around and interviewed both of them. It was like a double whammy. It was a fun 2.5 hours. But I took a quick peek at the chat a moment ago, and I noticed people in the chat. They're probably more, you have a plethora of people that have stumbled across the Atheist Network group and things. But what Oz is talking about is like the very beginning when the Atheist Roundtable was developed, and the original group was Oz, Murder Shed Steve, Just Jeff, and J Michael. And these were individuals that I kind of picked and found online at TikTok. And, if anyone else has come along onto Oz's platform, these are aftermarket folks that Oz has, found that had nothing to do with what Oz is talking about, and probably would have not been people that I would have been chatting with, because it was different back then. But when it comes to what you're talking about, Oz, I was kind of into bringing on a theist. We'd have a theist pop on the show, and rather than go straight into your religion is absurd, we would have somebody like Benji who was very cordial, kind of chat with them up top to try and find out where their level of skepticism is. Do they have a confidence that their beliefs are true? Kind of almost mimicking what Anthony does. Then Jeff would kind of be more satirical, a little bit fun. And it is kind of like a video game. It's like the levels of the difficulty levels go. And then finally they meet up with you and J Mike at the end, where it's like you get to the atheist asshole at the very end,
You've now met the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I included it on when we did the 2-year anniversary or birthday, whatever the fuck you want to call it. One of the early shows with Kobe, that was one of the shows that I actually called Mike after the show, and I was like, I feel like shit. I was a fucking dick that entire time. I was a fucking dick. And that was actually the show or the interview that gave birth to hashtag faith is bullshit. And like, and Mike was like, no, like you actually, in that one, you actually gave the correct amount of pushback for the level of just idiocy that he, you know, he kept espousing. But it's like, I remember ones like that where it's like, I would be a complete asshole, and then Mike would call me after the show, and I'm like, fuck, you're right. And then there's other shows where I'd be like, dude, I was a fucking dick the entire time. He was like, no, that was the right level of asshole.
Yeah, well, in the very beginning, the majority of the shows were very well structured, and I'd be behind the scenes directing the show and bringing the interviewers in segments, and we'd almost have a script down, and we'd rehearse some aspects of it. But then I'd go to work, and you'd have an after party, and it would be like a contrast between the one show that would be the one before that looked almost somewhat professional to, oh, now I get to rip this guy a new asshole. But that one, you're right. That one time I was like, well, that was actually pretty good.
Yep. So that's where Faith is Bullshit came from. And we've ran with it ever since. And then, you know, obviously, and Mike and I worked very, very close together. It makes it sound like we don't. We still talk all the time, but there was a period where we talked just about every damn day, you know, and I mean that in a good way, just planning and talking and you know, trying to make the best of everything, you know, that we had in front of us, especially given that fucking COVID, you know, and trying to make the best of the time and capitalize. And I learned a ton, and you know, and that, you know, year or whatever, especially why COVID had shit shut down. But
yeah,
looking back at that now, Mike, what are your takeaways as far as whether it's like memories or things learned or things improved upon? What are your takeaways from that time, especially during COVID when we were really getting at it?
Well, I miss it. I miss some of that shit. You know, it was fun. I used to enjoy Jeff's Discord. I miss the stuff that we used to do. It was definitely a fun time. It's something to be said about like quality over quantity sometimes, like that tight knit group that we had, and the you know, there was a specific set of skills, specific set of followers that we had that was really cool. And I kind of knew that you were going to be the one to keep it going. I think I even told you that early on.
Yeah, you did, and I appreciate that. And at the time, I remember thinking when we'd get off the phone, I'm like, I think this motherfucker's crazy. Me? This motherfucker's crazy. Cheers. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of lessons learned, you know, I think individually and as a unit, you know, but then, you know, as things progressed, and this is actually one thing I absolutely love and respect about Mike and I's friendship and our relationship is whether we agree and we're laughing and having fun, or we disagree and it's not necessarily laughing and having fun time. We walk away still brothers, still friends, and have always found a way to find a medium, you know, and a place to where it's like, okay, we can either agree to disagree here, and let's leave that be, you know, or okay, cool, we're on the same page here, let's move forward. And I've had tons of people ask me, well, what happened? Why? And Oz, and you remember this, Mike. Oz fired Pasta Mike.
Yes, I think I started it.
You did start it, asshole.
Yeah. I started Mute Oz. I started all of them.
Yeah, yes, you did. Well, and well, I'm sure you remember. I at one point had to message Mike and Nate. I'm like, you guys, please stop saying it. I'm getting too many messages and it's pissing me off. It's fucking pissing me off. I didn't fire nobody. Nobody got fired. Like, please quit doing that. You know?
Yeah, I was even getting messages from people I didn't even know saying, "Why did Oz fire you?" And I would download like a fake pink slip and say, "I don't know, man."
Asshole. but you know, and I still remember like vividly, and Mike knows this, Jena knows this, anybody that does any type of work with me, knows my memory is shit. So when I say I vividly remember things, that's a big statement, but I vividly remember the conversations that Mike and I had as we approached the him starting normalizing atheism and doing that and branching off and doing that, and me, quote unquote, kind of staying at home, with TANG, and how many people like were either behind the scenes or whatever, losing their shit, thinking there was drama and everything. It was like, no, there's no fucking drama. Like we're still cool. We're still cool. And the reason I share all that is we've been able to demonstrate as friends and as brothers that we can disagree and we can still work together to normalize atheism and to be a voice. And I think there needs to be a lot more of that, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
There's too much of this knee jerk where it's like, oh, I disagree. Fuck you. Shut up.
Yeah. And also, people were confused that there can't be two platforms doing similar things,
Yeah, because that doesn't happen on TV every day.
Very unusual, right?
So suspect. But so cancel.
Yeah.
Oh, we're starting a new hashtag. If it's mute Oz, if it's hashtag mute Oz, it's hashtag cancel Pasta.
Please don't. I'll start a YouTube channel on dogs. I'll just go film people's dogs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Heathen Queen. So Heathen Queen gets credit. She did say it first.
What'd she say?
Hashtag cancel Pasta Mike.
Oh, God damn it. I don't have my beep.
You don't need a beep here. We don't cancel people. Okay. So we get to that, and then you start normalizing atheism, and you came out of the gate just fucking shit up as far as not just the quality of the interviews, but the quality of production, and where you're doing that and working with other people. And you and I did some things there and did some combo things. So tell us about normalizing atheism, and what it is you have done up to this point, and what are your plans for it? Do you have further plans? What are your intentions there?
Well, hashtag combo things, first of all.
Combo things.
Hashtag combo things.
That's what
I just want to film. I want to film more things, I want to actually film more stuff. So I'm shooting out of my hallway right now. It's my kitchen in the background because I'm building a studio in my house. So I'll be doing more podcasts soon as it's finished. But in the meantime, Oz, I'll be doing pro bono work for you at Better.
Hell yeah.
Holla at your boy.
Holla. Yeah. So, I said up top during the intros and everything, Mike will be live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Better. And he'll be filming a lot, but the for those that are going to be a part of the after party, we're gonna have a little live stream at the Summit City Comedy Club.
We're gonna do a stream, Oz. We are. We're gonna do a stream because those are my favorites.
Ooh.
They are my favorite. Because if somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to do a stream or a stream?" I'm gonna be all about the stream personally. But
hey, you can stream with Tardy Tart.
Either or.
Either have it your way. It's like Burger King around this motherfucker. But no, it'll be That'll be fun. Before we wrap the interview part up, and you and I just start doing what we do and chopping up, talking shit, and having fun. Let's talk about it's not the last one you did, but let's talk about your and I's trip to Columbus, Ohio, to film Street Epistemology.
You want to talk about that? You want to bring that up?
Let me be specific. Drunken, well, kind of drunken, buzzed Street Epistemology.
It was. It wasn't very. It wasn't professional.
Huh?
It wasn't very professional. It was kind of like, yeah, it was kind of like it was like drunk history meets SE.
True.
But it was fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. So let's set something up for that again.
Oh, fuck yes. Well, when you're here, we'll go downtown Fort Wayne and do it. Fuck it. We got a super chat. Yeah. From Sean Alexandre, and if not damn close to being one of the day one subscribers and followers and fans, $20. I wish I could make it to Fort Wayne. Okay, here's a few extra bucks to help the cause. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, Sean is one of the real OGs, man. From the first Discord too.
Yep. Fuck yeah. But yeah, Columbus, Ohio. Mike and I met Nate up lady late with Nate. We met Nate in Columbus, Ohio, and we went downtown to do a little SE. And the greatest takeaway of the weekend or the time there, we met a former Christian / pastor, whatever it was, that walked away from Christianity because he couldn't keep dicks out of his mouth.
That's true.
So there's that.
Hey! Who said? That's why usually I'm not on camera. I'm sensitive about stuff like this.
Goddamn. I guess I shouldn't be on radio or YouTube then. Fuck. Yeah, that was that was fun. Yeah, if we do have time, I don't know if we will, but if we do have time, I would love to go downtown Fort Wayne and do that shit. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we can. I'll film it.
Well, we know that. You filmed the last one.
I'll film it all.
All night long. So, are you pulling up videos? I feel like you're like pulling up videos and shit.
No videos tonight, man. I got some if you want them.
No. I was trying to read what you were doing because normally I could tell by the look on your face. I couldn't tell if that was the focus. Like I'm pulling shit up to fuck with you, or. But well, cool. We're not pulling up videos, so I was kind of trying to drag that along there because I don't know if that's what you're doing. But
okay.
But we did. Yeah, we did that. We had fun. Nate really didn't offer too much to the equation, but thanks for being there, Nate. Yeah. Before we just have some fun, talk some shit. Anything else that you want to say in regards to YouTube atheism, skepticism, any of that before we kind of shift gears?
No, man, I appreciate you having me on. I don't have like a deconversion story, but thank you for your interest in interviewing me. So,
yeah, I knew you didn't have a deconversion, deconstruction story, but everybody still has a story, and I did not mean to sound like Dr. Phil there. I apologize, but there's still things we can take away from everybody's story, and and bottom line is, I just like fucking chilling, chopping up, and hanging out with my homeboy. So, fuck it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's get into the saucy shit. My view right now of the hood and the Atheist Your Way thing, and you say whatever you're comfortable with saying. I'm not gonna ask or pressure you into doing anything, but I'm gonna say whatever. I'm really sick of certain folks trying to prescribe and tell people how to atheist. Like, if you don't philosophize this way and you don't argue this way, you don't present this way, you're not a real atheist. Well, now you sound like a goddamn Christian. Any thoughts, any experience on that? Does it frustrate you, not frustrate you? Or would you rather not talk about that topic?
Well, I don't have the same experiences with it as you. I know that you recently kind of went through something that gave you more of a personal opinion on it. There are people out there that have stronger subjective opinions of what the atheism and what the atheist community should look like and be like. And that's up to you if you want to adhere to that, because not believing in God or having unbelief in supernatural God creatures, is it. That's atheism. And if you want to normalize that or wear that proudly, I mean, it can look lots of different ways.
And it should, right? It should look a lot of different ways. It shouldn't be cookie cutter, and
I think there can be healthy arguments made to better, and don't forget, tickets are on sale for better June the 25th and June the 25th. Both 25ths. But there are probably arguments that can be made respectfully on like what methods are probably better to approach the normalcy of unbelief in gods. But those things can still look different.
Yeah, it's I think for me it's because I'm always trying to think about how I felt while walking away and trying to keep others in mind that either are currently walking away or at least maybe even questioning and what it is like or what it would be like to walk into someone. It's like, okay, I thought I was walking away from this critical, dogmatic, judgmental, my way or the highway type thing, and then you find yourself now in kind of the same sort of echo chamber. And I want to make sure for everybody else can do whatever the fuck they want, but for myself and for Tang, that we stay as far away from that like programming type mentality as possible. I think that's my whole thing behind Atheist Your Ways. I don't want it to ever feel like that.
That's fair, man. You got your own little thing going on. Your Tang Gang, hashtag Tang Gang for discount code, hashtag Tang Gang. You got your own little brand, dude. That's your thing. That's Austin's thing. That's Oz's thing. And it's working for what your audience appreciates. Does it cater to everybody? No, it doesn't. But I don't see anything wrong with what you're doing as far as representing an unbelief in God. You're just showing the hurt that it causes. It would kind of be odd if a cradle atheist had your approach, because they would be faking it.
That's a good point. That's fair. Cool. That's the only other more serious topic that I wanted to cover, but now we can just talk shit and rap.
Okay, let's get the music pumping on us.
So go ahead and freestyle, Mike.
All right, what you got? give me some beats, dude. I got some gin right here. Okay, this is what I'm going to rap about. So, Pasta, what do you like to do when you're not making videos? I like to go up in that kitchen behind me, cook some eggs, butt naked with a chicken mask on. I like to pretend I'm the chicken that laid those eggs.
Then he cook up the SpaghettiOs.
What's up, Landon? That's Landy Dandy.
Landy Dandy. I think he did the first debate ever on our channel.
With J Mike.
Yeah.
Very polite young man.
Very polite. And I don't mean this the wrong way, but he has a we just got married recently. He has a beautiful wife. He had to have got her drunk. He had to have gotten her drunk.
Well, he's a good looking young man.
Huh? Yeah.
Hey.
I'm fucking with him.
The good Lord put them together.
Oh, it was predestined.
Yes.
God said.
Did you see their little bachelor party video that they made of like the boy band thing?
Oh, I did. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
This is true.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
This is true, Sean.
She might be deaf. I'm laughing because there's a comedian that was just joking about that he married like way out of his league, and he was like, when I met her, like I could already tell like she was hot, and I'm like, hopefully like she's like, I don't mean to sound mean or crude, but I'm hoping like she's missing a hand or like she's deaf or something, because then it makes more sense why she would be with me. And I'm like, what kind of fucking reasoning? What kind of fucking reasoning is that?
Speaking, Sean's message just reminded me. When we first met, I used to get a lot of photographs, and I used to blame your ex-wife a lot, but I to this day, I'm not buying it. I used to get a lot of photos of you in my Skype. I won't go to the one that you think I'm going to go to, but there was because this is what just reminded me of one. I got a photo of you just sitting at your desk, like it was when you first got your little studio together in your old house, and it's like you at your desk in like a pair of like, you kind of like you're probably about to go to bed. You're in like your house shoes and like boxer shorts or whatever, but you got a plate of nothing but like bacon. It's almost like 2 pounds of bacon, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, I know exactly what picture you're talking about, and it was just a pile of bacon.
But you had your earphones on. It looked like you were like editing a video or something, but you were in front of your computer, big thing of bacon. You couldn't have looked happier.
Oh, well, I was actually live with a bunch of Muslims.
Oh, man.
I was taking bites of bacon like, assalamu alaikum, bacon, assalamu alaikum, bacon.
So Christian folks, they're okay with bacon. It's the Muslims, right? And isn't something, maybe some other sects of what's the other one?
Muslims, and then I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
vegetarians. There you go. The other one, vegans.
Yeah, don't get me started. Yep. Fucking just eat the meat. Just take the meat.
I don't eat pork. It's not like I'm not a pork. I just don't care for it.
I love bacon.
I know you do, dude. We just got done talking about you eating like 80 pounds of it.
Oh, and some bratwurst. Oh, god damn. Hell yeah.
Sausage.
Yeah. All day long. It's not very often that I just see Mike just staring at a computer screen and not saying anything.
Well, I've seen you eat. I'm a lot bigger than you, and you can out-eat me pretty easily. And you out-drink me too.
Oh, I'd be drinking.
We drink the same shit, but you just drink twice as much of it as what I do.
That's what happens when you come from a family line full of alcoholics.
Yeah, I got them in my family too, but I think it skipped me.
Yeah, it didn't skip me at all. It's funny, when I went to LA and hung out with Jena, she was like, when I see you on screen, like, and you go live, like I know you drink. I know you drink a lot. I know you smoke. But you smoke and drink a fucking lot. It's like, yes, I do. Yes.
And Jenna's a little health nut. She drinks a little bit, though, don't she?
She drinks a little bit. Oh, Mike, I got her drunk. Oh my God, that shit was hilarious. I wish she was still in the chat.
I don't want to see drunk Jena. I don't want to hear drunk Jena.
Oh, she's hilarious. She's hilarious.
Well, dude, I do believe that it's come to the end of the night. And we need to talk some business backstage.
All right. Yeah. About time to use the restroom. I don't know about you, but
I've been going this whole time right here.
Oh, well, good for you, I guess. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up. And Mike, thanks for hanging out. Well, obviously, we're going to keep hanging out and talking, but thanks for coming on and doing the. You were concerned that you were drunk, but thanks for coming on, hanging out. Appreciate it as always. And everybody in the chat, thanks. We had a good turnout tonight. Appreciate it coming and hanging out with the Pasta Man and your boy Oz. And we will be. Well, I won't be live again till the weekend. But anything you want to say, closing words, links, shills, anything like that, Mike, before we go?
No, appreciate the love, man. Thank you for having me.
Cool. All right. Well, love you, brother. Appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out. And we'll holla.
Yeah. This is for all you non-philosophizing black sheep, unwelcome, pushed to the side motherfuckers like me.
Fuck what they say. TANG gang. Atheist Your Way. Yeah. Fuck what they say. TANG gang. Atheist Your Way. Let's get down to business. These bitches got glitches. And you thought you'd dismiss us? Nah. Now I'm laughing in stitches. See, the problem be, it'll be a tragic travesty to come after me. So just know this is how we get down. Respect that shit like a pronoun, bitch. Yeah, fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah, and fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah, fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way. Yeah, fuck what they say. TANG gang, Atheist Your Way.